welcome back to the Design Clinic. This week we are going to be looking at how to use the background remover and the feature duotone to create some really cool features for your posts. So let's jump on into the computer and take a look.
Okay, yes, let's get stuck in. We are going to learn how to do an effect like this, where you can add a nice crisp extra color layer behind your photos. Also going to learn a couple of different ways to do that in different colors and a different glowy effect too. It can be really effective to give you that edge on your images. Really cool look. If you are in Photoshop, you might be familiar with something very similar using the layer properties, which would be the stroke option or the inner outer glow. But here in Canva, this is the way we are going to do this. It's a little bit of a process, but it is actually really simple. So first off, we are going to make a clean page. I'm just going to make that a nice pale color so that we can see what I'm going to do when I add in the white. And then what we're going to need is a photograph to get started. So we're going to use the original of this image, which was just a really simple photograph that I took at home, just using my phone against a plain wall. It doesn't have to be a plain wall. This feature that we're going to use is really good, so it does cut out from anything, but a plain wall will just gives you a lot of uses. You could actually then just crop this photo and add text onto that if you wanted to, but to do what we're doing up above, we are going to use this image, and then we are going to head over to the effects. Now, here in effects, you're going to use the background remover. To be able to use this and download your work, you do need to have a pro account. If you don't have a pro account, you can use the feature, but you can't export or download the final image. If you haven't used the feature yet before, it will be listed here, and you just need to click to activate it. And once you have it, it will be up here. And then just make sure your photo is highlighted and just click background remover. Let it whir away and do its thing. It does a really good job at taking away that background super easily. So there we go, we have ourselves cut out. Now, if you think it's taken away too much or not enough, you can do some tweaks over here with the erase and restore features. So you can just click on those, and then using your brush size, you can change the size of the circle of your brush, and then you can just click and then just fill in if you need to recover anything of the image. And then again, if you have gone too far and you want to take it away again, click erase and just rub out again. You need a very steady hand and a smaller brush if you come in close to the edges here, but otherwise that's a really good way of just getting it back in and out. Click done when you're happy, and that is your cutout image. It will keep the grid size on the outside the original size of the photograph. So what I would suggest to do is to just click on those tabs and just bring it in nice and snug to the photograph so that you have a nice, easy, concise layer to deal with. And there you go, that is the top layer of what we are going to create. Now we need to make another layer so that we can start playing with the colors and background of that. So we are going to copy this layer and paste it onto here. And then we have two of them. You're going to keep one as your top layer and one as your back layer. So I would suggest your top layer, just make it a teeny tiny bit smaller just to start with. There we go. And then just move it to one side so you know where it is and what you're going to do. So now background layer, you're going to click on it again and then head on over into effects. And we are going to use duotone. Now duotone on its own is quite a funky little colorization kind of feature. So you can just click on that and it will do something like this. We are going to make it a solid color and have a play with the colors. So we're going to go to these little toggles here, click on there, and then this is where you can change the colors. If you played around with two colors, it would change the look of this kind of pop art filter color. But what we're going to do is make it solid color. So we're going to change both of these to white. So you just click and then just drag your circle right into the far corner, and that will give you true absolute white. Click on there, drag to the corner, and that will give you white. And that becomes your solid base layer, which you can then go back to your top layer and you're going to pop that on top, and then you can play around with where you want it sat. If you want it to be just an edge, you can just move that photo around, or you might like it to try and be all the way around. You just have a play and decide where you would like it to sit. I would then say once you are happy with that, grab your back layer, whoop, there you go, and then hit shift, grab your top layer and then group them together, because then you just get the one thing that you can pull and push around. You can always ungroup them later if you want to. That just gives you a little bit more control, a little bit less fiddly than the two files on their own. And then you can then add that to whatever design that you want to. You can do that whole process on your original design, but it can just be a bit easier to have it on a plain extra layer just to keep it simple. So let's just make as if we're going to do this new design. You could then drag that down. We're going to copy it because I'm going to come back and do something else to that original bit. Then you can copy and paste and then pop it wherever you want to in your design for whatever it is you are creating. So that's really cool, using that feature to a nice crisp white background. Coming back to this one, let's ungroup and have our separate layers. We're going to go to the back layer, and we're just going to change the color just to show you what that can look like. So we can go back to effects, and now because you've already made it a solid color, duotone feature has now changed to these cutouts, so it's giving you loads of different colors already. You can obviously go into the little toggles and change the color if you want to. It's giving you some sample options there. If you wanted to change it, go into the toggles and then you can then play around with the colors. I'm now going to show you, we'll make that a yellowy color too. There we go. I'm now going to show you how you can make that into quite a cool glowy look to give us a little bit of a glow around the photo. So then you're going to change that over to whatever color you'd like, head to adjust, and you're going to play with the blur feature. As you see with blur, oh, bear with me, it's not letting us do that. Let's just go back into that. Oh, that's blurring our top layer, isn't it? Bear with me, let's undo that. And we will just go back to the back layer. There we go. Head into adjust and then play with blur. As you can see, the more you do it, you can make like a really cool spread of color, like a bit of a spray paint effect, or you can bring it in and make it. You can also go the other way and it goes like really strong, but the blur is where you make the nice glow. So you can play around with that, and then that becomes a glow around the image. You can again move yourself around however you'd like to show that glow. So that's again a really cool extra feature. Just going to group them together. Let's grab our back layer first, then our front layer, group them together, and just make that a little bit smaller in the corner. So that's a really good way of doing the blur. And then it is also really cool, you can use it on objects. It doesn't have to be pictures of yourself. So I'm just going to head over to photos and grab a pro shot of the product. Let's go for these trainers, just to show you how it can work on objects rather than people. So we're going to do the same process again. Head to effects, background remover, let it do its thing. Get a nice cutout of that product. There we go. And then again, we'll just bring those lines in so it just becomes a bit tighter to the feature that we need. All done. And we're just going to copy that one, paste it in again. So we have our two layers. Let's make one of those a little bit smaller. There we go. And then our back layer, we are going to change the colors of again. So we're going to go to effects. Let's do a nice glow around it. So we're just going to go duotone, go into the toggles. I'm going to try and make it the similar green to those trainers. If you want the exact same when you copy it over, you just need to copy that hex code and then head into the other color and paste that hex code in, and then it will be the same shade. So that's our top layer. And then we're just going to bring these trainers on top and then have a play around with the glow. So head back to adjust and then play with your blur. Canvas, here we go. Just play with the blur on there. And you can add that effect in, change where you want your trainers to be, depending on where you want the glow around it. And then again, that's a really great way of using it to jazz up those designs.
So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that tutorial today, and love to see how you're going to put it to use. As always, do come and jump into the Facebook group. Find me on Facebook for Branding with KTN, and there is lots more support and you can get feedback on your designs in there. And if you are watching on YouTube, then do also give me a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on anything. I will see you all in the next tutorial.